We've seen police shootings before, but rarely from this perspective. An ICE agent recording on his own cell phone captures the exact moment a casual conversation turns deadly. Was this a case of imminent danger or a panic-induced failure of training? Let's break down the footage.
Change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former fucking veteran. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car.
Pause here. Look at the demeanor. The agent is holding his phone, casual, even dismissive with that "that's fine, dude" comment. Renee Good seems calm, but look at the wife outside the car. She's the variable the agent is watching. He isn't acting like someone about to use lethal force. He's acting like someone annoyed by a heckler. But notice the car, brake lights on, reverse engaged. The escape plan is already in motion, and the agent is completely out of position to stop it safely. Watch how quickly complacency turns into chaos.
Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the car.
Oh!
Been warning for weeks that the Trump administration's dangerous, sensationalized operations are a threat to our public safety, that someone was going to get hurt. Just yesterday, I said exactly that.
ICE officers were out in an enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted quickly.
Today, we are conducting a forensic analysis of a critical incident out of Minneapolis that has ignited a firestorm of debate regarding use of force, tactical positioning, and the psychology of survival under stress. We are examining the fatal shooting of Renee Nicole Good by ICE agent Jonathan Ross. What distinguishes this case, and what makes the footage so jarring, is its source. We are not viewing this through the wide-angle lens of a standard chest-mounted body camera. Instead, we are seeing the events unfold through a cell phone held in the agent's own hand. This unique perspective offers us a direct line of sight into exactly what the agent was focusing on, and tragically, what he missed in the fractions of a second before he made the decision to pull the trigger. To understand how a routine warrant execution spiraled into a fatality, we have to look at the timeline objectively. We aren't here to push a political narrative. We are here to analyze the tactics, the behavior, and the decisions made in the heat of the moment. However, an honest analysis requires us to be critical of the officer's performance. Upon reviewing the footage frame by frame, there are glaring tactical errors and deviations from standard safety protocols that we simply cannot ignore, errors that arguably contributed to the chaotic and deadly outcome. The encounter begins with a false sense of security. Agent Ross approaches the driver's side of the SUV. Inside, we see Renee Good. Outside, standing near the rear of the vehicle, is her wife. The interaction starts with a bizarre calmness. You hear Good say, "That's fine, dude," and the agent replies, "Show your face." Psychologically, this establishes a low-threat baseline. The agent is holding his cell phone in his left hand to record the interaction. This is our first and perhaps most significant tactical red flag. In law enforcement, your hands are your lifeline. By occupying one hand with a phone, likely to record a key, gotcha moment, or gather informal evidence, Agent Ross has effectively halved his defensive capability before the suspect has even been secured. If a suspect produces a weapon, or if a physical struggle ensues, he is already at a massive disadvantage. It suggests he did not view Good as a serious threat at this specific moment. He viewed this as a bureaucratic encounter, not a potential battle for survival. Good's body language is deceptive, and the agent misses the subtle cues. She is tracking the agent with her eyes, leaning forward, appearing engaged in the conversation. Expert analysis from forensic psychologists points out that despite this calm facade, her hands are physically preparing for flight. The car is in reverse. The wheels are turned. She is engaging in social compliance, talking politely, while physically preparing for mechanical escape. The agent, focused on his phone screen and the verbal back and forth, misses these pre-flight indicators entirely. He is listening to her words rather than watching her hands and the vehicle's status, a fundamental error in traffic stop safety. The dynamic shifts rapidly when Good's wife intervenes from outside the vehicle. She becomes verbally aggressive, telling the agent to go get yourself some lunch, big boy. This is a crucial tactical pivot point. The agent's attention, and his camera, shifts immediately to the wife. He is now focused on the external distraction, rather than the driver behind the wheel of a 4,000-pound vehicle. This is a classic example of loss of situational awareness. While he is recording the wife, likely to document her interference, or perhaps because he is annoyed, he loses control of the primary threat, the driver. In this window of distraction, Good makes her move. She reverses the vehicle. Now, look at the agent's reaction as the car moves. He doesn't drop the phone. He doesn't tactically retreat to cover. He moves with the flow of the chaos, stepping closer to the danger zone. As the car stops reversing and prepares to drive forward, we witness the fatal error in positioning. Agent Ross steps into the frame, placing himself in close proximity to the front quarter panel of the vehicle. There is a fundamental rule in vehicle stops: don't stand in the fatal funnel. It sounds simple in a classroom, but under stress, the moth to the flame effect often takes over. Officers can subconsciously move toward the threat to control it, inadvertently placing themselves in the path of danger. However, the critique here goes deeper than just stepping forward. It is the speed of the escalation and the physical mechanics of the shooting. As Good hits the gas, she is turning the wheel. The tires indicate she is trying to turn away and flee, not necessarily run the agent down. But in that split second, Ross perceives a deadly threat. Here is the most damning piece of evidence from a tactical standpoint. He never drops the phone. Watch the shooting again closely. He draws his service weapon with his right hand. His left hand is still holding the cell phone up, recording the shooting as it happens. This is a massive failure of training and priority. If an officer truly believes they are about to die, if they believe a vehicle is about to crush them, the body's natural reaction should be to use every available tool to survive. You drop the non-essentials. You use two hands on your weapon for recoil control, accuracy, and retention. You use your free hand to push off the hood or scramble for safety. The fact that he maintained his grip on the phone while discharging his weapon suggests two contradictory but equally concerning possibilities. Either his brain locked up in a state of hypervigilance and he simply forgot he was holding it, or, even more controversially, on some level, he was prioritizing the recording over optimal combat mechanics. Regardless of the psychological reason, firing a weapon one-handed while standing next to a moving vehicle is a recipe for disaster. It reduces accuracy and stability significantly. Furthermore, we cannot ignore the presence of the second agent. As Ross fires, the video shows another ICE agent just feet away on the other side of the vehicle. By discharging his weapon in a chaotic scramble, one-handed, Ross risked hitting his partner. The background was not clear, and the situation was fluid. The decision to shoot was made in less than a second. Specifically, analysis shows it happened within a single frame of the car accelerating. This reaction speed is almost too fast. It bypasses the cognitive processing loop known as the OODA loop: observe, orient, decide, act, and jumps straight to act. Why did this happen so fast? We have learned that Agent Ross had been dragged by a vehicle in a separate incident just months prior. Psychologically, this is incredibly significant. It suggests his amygdala, the fear center of the brain, was primed for this specific threat. The sound of the engine revving wasn't just a new event. It was a trigger recalling a near-death experience. Dr. G calls this an amygdala hijack. While this explains why he shot so fast, it does not excuse the tactical errors from a professional standpoint. In fact, it highlights a failure in the agency's oversight and return-to-duty protocols. If an agent is so traumatized by a previous vehicular assault that they react with lethal force the moment a car moves, simply because the sound triggers a memory, are they fit to be in the field performing high-risk vehicle stops? The criticism here falls heavily on the decision-making process. Was the shooting objectively reasonable under the law? Legal standards ask if a reasonable officer would perceive a deadly threat. A car moving toward you is certainly deadly, but a reasonable officer is also expected to utilize tactical positioning to avoid creating that jeopardy in the first place. By stepping into the path, or close enough to it to feel threatened, and failing to utilize cover, the agent contributed to the exigency that led to the shooting. Furthermore, looking at the tire trajectory, Good was turning. She was fleeing. The Supreme Court has ruled that lethal force cannot be used solely to prevent escape unless the suspect poses an imminent threat of death or serious injury to others. Was she a threat to the public? Maybe. Was she a threat to the agent? In his mind, absolutely. But objectively, the physics show the car was moving away from his center mass by the time the shots were fully effective. The video ends in tragedy. Renee Good is dead. An investigation is underway, and the community is rightfully outraged and demanding answers. When we strip away the politics and look at the tape, we see a failure of control. We see an agent distracted by a cell phone, distracted by a bystander, out of position, and triggered by past trauma into a lethal reaction that happened faster than human thought usually allows. Holding a cell phone while shooting a firearm is an image that will define this case for years to come. It symbolizes a split focus in a profession that demands 100% attention. Whether this is ruled justified or not in a court of law, in the court of tactics and public safety, it serves as a grim lesson. Complacency kills, and unresolved trauma can turn a routine warrant execution into a funeral. This wasn't just a shooting. It was a cascading series of human errors that left no room for de-escalation. The agent failed to establish control, failed to recognize the pre-flight indicators, and failed to prioritize his own physical readiness over recording a video. And that is the true tragedy here, that a different approach, a two-handed grip on the situation rather than a one-handed grip on a phone, might have resulted in a different outcome. This analysis is heavy, but it's necessary. We need to understand the mechanics of these failures to prevent them. If you want to support unbiased, deep dive breakdowns of Bodycam and evidentiary footage, please hit that like button. It helps the algorithm get this educational content to more people. Share your thoughts below. Do you think the cell phone played a role in the agent's reaction time? Let's talk about it in the comments. Stay safe and see you in the next one.